Crash landing. The deafening roar of failing engines filled the cramped cockpit as Mira Sato fought to keep a small spacecraft from spiraling out of control. Warning lights flashed across her console, bathing her face in an eerie red glow. Through the cracked viewscreen, she caught glimpses of a planet's surface rapidly approaching, a blur of purple and green that looked nothing like the refueling station she had been aiming for. Mira gritted her teeth, her hands white-knuckled on the controls as she tried to stabilize her descent. She was a mechanic, not a pilot, but years of working on spacecraft had given her an intuitive understanding of how they functioned. Right now, that understanding was the only thing keeping her alive. As the ground rushed up to meet her, Mira made a split-second decision. She diverted all remaining power to the landing thrusters, sacrificing life support and navigation systems in a desperate bid to slow her fall. The ship shuddered violently, and for a moment, Mira thought it might tear itself apart. But then, miraculously, she felt the descent begin to slow. It wasn't enough to save the ship, but it might be enough to save her. With a bone-jarring impact, the spacecraft slammed into the alien landscape. Metal screamed and tore, and Mira was thrown forward against her restraints. Her head struck the console, and everything went black. When Mira regained consciousness, the first thing she noticed was the silence. The constant hum of engines and life support systems that had been her constant companion for months was gone, replaced by an eerie quiet broken only by the occasional creak of cooling metal. She blinked, trying to clear her vision, and found herself staring at a twisted mass of metal and wires that had once been her control console. A wave of dizziness washed over her, and she tasted blood in her mouth. Concussion, probably, but she was alive. With trembling hands, Mira released her restraints and tried to stand. A sharp pain shot through her left leg, and she stumbled, catching herself on the remains of her pilot's chair. Looking down, she saw why. Her prosthetic leg, a sophisticated piece of technology that connected directly to her nervous system, had been damaged in the crash. The lower portion was crushed, sparks occasionally dancing across exposed circuitry. "Well, that's not good," Mira muttered to herself, her voice sounding unnaturally loud in the silence of the ruined ship. She took a deep breath, forcing herself to focus. First things first, she needed to assess her situation and salvage what she could from the wreckage. Then she could worry about repairs, both to her ship and to herself. Using the walls for support, Mira made her way to the rear of the ship where the cargo hold was located. The door was jammed, but a few well-placed kicks with her good leg forced it open. Inside, she found chaos, crates and containers thrown about, their contents spilled across the floor. But amid the destruction, she saw hope. Her toolkit had survived, its reinforced case having protected its precious contents. Next to it lay her emergency survival pack, designed for exactly this kind of situation. And there, half buried under a fallen shelf, was her portable solar charger, essential for keeping her prosthetic powered. Mira allowed herself a small smile. It wasn't much, but it was a start. Over the next few hours, Mira took stock of her supplies and began the arduous process of setting up a camp outside the ruined ship. The planet's atmosphere was breathable, if a bit thin, and its gravity seemed close enough to Earth normal that she could function without too much difficulty. The purple-leafed vegetation surrounding her crash site was unlike anything she had ever seen, but scans showed no immediate toxicity. As she worked, Mira's mind raced, analyzing her predicament. She had been on a routine cargo run when an unexpected solar flare had fried her navigation systems, sending her off course. By the time she realized how far she had strayed, it was too late. Her fuel reserves were critically low, and this uncharted planet had been her only option for an emergency landing. Now, stranded on an alien world with a damaged prosthetic and limited supplies, Mira faced the greatest challenge of her life. But as the twin suns of this strange world began to set, painting the sky in shades of orange and green, she felt a fierce determination take hold. She was Mira Sato, mechanic extraordinaire, and she had never met a problem she couldn't solve given enough time and the right tools. This planet, with all its unknown dangers, was just another problem to be solved, and solve it she would. As darkness fell, Mira retreated to the relative safety of her makeshift shelter, rigged from salvaged pieces of her ship's hull. She lay back, staring up at unfamiliar stars, and began to plan. Tomorrow, she would begin repairs on her prosthetic. Then she would see about reading up a long-range distress beacon, and after that, well, she would face whatever challenges this alien world had to offer. Just before sleep claimed her, Mira's hand drifted to the small locket she wore around her neck, a gift from her grandmother, and her last tangible connection to Earth. Inside was a tiny holoprojector containing images of her family and friends. She didn't activate it, she didn't need to. The faces were etched in her memory, a reminder of why she had to survive, why she had to find a way home. "I'm not done yet," Mira whispered to the alien night. "Not by a long shot." As she drifted off to sleep, Mira was unaware of the eyes watching her from the darkness beyond her camp. Curious, alien eyes that had never before seen a creature quite like her. Eyes that would soon draw her into a conflict beyond anything she could have imagined. But that was a problem for tomorrow. For now, Mira slept, her dreams filled with the hum of engines and the infinite possibilities of the stars. Alien symbiosis and mechanical mastery. The alien sun rose, casting an eerie purple glow across the crash site. Mira Sato stirred, her body aching from the previous day's ordeal. As she sat up, she noticed something strange, a shimmering, almost translucent substance coating her damaged prosthetic leg. "What in the cosmos?" she muttered, leaning in for a closer look. The substance moved, responding to her touch. It wasn't just coating her prosthetic, it seemed to be integrating with it, filling in the gaps and repairing the damage. Mira's heart raced. This was unprecedented, some form of alien nanotechnology, perhaps. As she watched, fascinated, the substance completed its work. Her prosthetic now looked better than new, with an otherworldly sheen that seemed to pulse with energy. Cautiously, Mira stood up. The sensation was incredible. Her neural connection to the prosthetic felt stronger than ever, and as she took a few experimental steps, she realized she could move with a grace and agility she'd never experienced before. Adaptive alien biomechanics, she breathed, her mind already racing with the implications. This changes everything. But her wonder was short-lived. A series of sharp, staccato sounds echoed from the dense alien forest surrounding her camp. Something was coming. Mira quickly gathered her essential tools and the portable solar charger. Whatever was out there, she wasn't about to face it unprepared. As she stood ready, her enhanced prosthetic humming with alien energy, a creature burst into the clearing. It was like nothing Mira had ever seen, a swirling mass of tentacles and crystalline structures, constantly shifting and reforming. The creature paused, its surface rippling in patterns that Mira instinctively understood was some form of communication. It was trying to talk to her. Drawing on her years of experience deciphering alien tech, Mira focused on the patterns. Slowly, imperfectly, meaning began to form in her mind. Danger, coming, help, needed. Mira hesitated for only a moment before nodding. "Lead the way," she said, hoping the creature could understand her intent if not her words. As they plunged into the alien forest, Mira's enhanced leg allowing her to keep pace with the creature's fluid movements, she realized this was far more than a simple survival situation. She had stumbled into something much bigger and potentially revolutionary. The forest around them was alive in ways Mira had never imagined. Plants reached out with tendrils that seemed almost sentient, while floating spores glowed with bioluminescent light. Every step brought new wonders and potential dangers. Suddenly, they emerged into a vast clearing. Mira gasped. Before her stood an enormous structure, part organic, part mechanical, that pulsed with the same energy as her enhanced prosthetic. It was a ship, she realized, but one that was alive. The creature led her towards an opening in the living ship's side. As they approached, Mira saw signs of damage, angry red gashes in the organic hull, leaking a fluid that sizzled when it hit the ground. Inside, the ship was a maze of pulsing corridors and chambers that seemed to breathe. They finally reached what Mira assumed was the control center, where several more of the tentacled creatures worked frantically at interfaces that melded seamlessly with their bodies. One of the creatures turned to Mira, its surface rippling urgently. The meaning came to her in fragments. Ship, dying. Mechanic, help. Mira looked around, taking in the incredible blend of biology and technology. This was far beyond anything humans had achieved, but the underlying principles, the flow of energy, the integration of systems, those were universal. "I'll do my best," she said, pulling out her tools. "Show me where to start." What followed was the most challenging and exhilarating experience of Mira's life. Working alongside the alien creatures, she began to understand their incredible technology. The ship wasn't just a vessel, it was a symbiotic organism, bonded to its crew in ways that blurred the line between pilot and ship. As Mira worked, her enhanced prosthetics seemed to resonate with the ship's systems. She found herself instinctively understanding complex alien systems, her hands moving with newfound precision as she rerouted energy flows and patched damaged biocircuits. Hours passed in a blur of feverish activity. Finally, with a shudder that Mira felt in her bones, the ship's systems stabilized. The angry red gashes in its hull began to heal, and a sense of relief washed through the control center. The aliens gathered around Mira, their surfaces rippling with what she now recognized as joy and gratitude. One of them extended a tentacle, offering her a small, pulsing object. As Mira took it, knowledge flooded her mind. It was a key, not just to the ship, but to the aliens' entire technology. They were offering her a place among them, a chance to explore the galaxy with her unique human perspective combined with their incredible biotechnology. For a moment, Mira was tempted. The opportunities for discovery, for advancing human knowledge, were beyond anything she had ever dreamed. But then she thought of her family back on Earth, of the locket around her neck. She had a duty to return, to share what she had learned. "Thank you," she said, handing the key back. "But I need to find my way home." The aliens' disappointment was palpable, but they understood. They had seen her memories, felt her connection to her distant home. As Mira prepared to leave, the aliens presented her with gifts, upgrades to her prosthetic that would help her survive the planet's dangers, and a small communicator that would allow her to call for help if she needed it. With a final farewell, Mira stepped back out into the alien forest. She had a long journey ahead, but now she had hope and abilities beyond anything she had imagined. As she walked, testing the incredible enhancements to her prosthetic, Mira smiled. She was no longer just a stranded mechanic. She was a bridge between two technologies, two ways of life. And somehow, she would find a way to bring that knowledge back to Earth. The forest seemed less threatening now, full of potential rather than danger. Mira Sato, human mechanic and now ambassador to an alien biotechnology, set off with renewed purpose. Her adventure was just beginning. Quantum fusion and the hive mind rebellion. As Mira trekked through the alien landscape, her enhanced prosthetic humming with biomechanical energy, she couldn't shake the feeling that she was being watched. The forest around her seemed alive in ways that defied conventional understanding, with plants that whispered secrets in frequencies just beyond human hearing and creatures that phased in and out of visible reality. Suddenly, the communicator gifted by the symbiotic aliens began to pulse urgently. Mira activated it, and a holographic display flickered to life, showing a 3D map of the surrounding area. A massive energy signature was approaching rapidly from the east. "Well, that can't be good," Mira muttered, her mind racing through possible scenarios. As if in response to her thoughts, her prosthetic leg began to reconfigure itself. Plates shifted, gears whirred, and within seconds, Mira found herself equipped with a powerful propulsion system. Adaptive quantum interface, she breathed, marveling at the technology. Looks like I got a new trick up my sleeve, or rather my leg. Without a moment to spare, Mira activated the propulsion system. She shot into the air just as the tree line behind her exploded in a shower of splintered wood and glowing sap. A massive creature burst into view, a behemoth that seemed to be equal parts machine and writhing organic matter. As Mira soared above the canopy, she got her first clear look at her pursuer. It was like nothing she had ever seen or imagined, a colossal fusion of flesh and metal, with pulsing veins of energy crisscrossing its surface. Multiple eyes, both organic and mechanical, swiveled to focus on her. Outsider, a voice boomed in her mind, the force of it nearly causing Mira to lose control of her flight. You carry the seed of revolution. You must be eliminated. Mira's mind raced. Revolution? What could that mean? Then it hit her. The biotechnology she had integrated with, the symbiosis she had experienced with the alien ship. Somehow, this was a threat to whatever controlled this monstrous hybrid creature. As she dodged energy blasts and grasping tentacles, Mira's enhanced senses picked up on something extraordinary. The creature pursuing her wasn't a single entity, but a collective, a hive mind composed of countless smaller organisms, all linked through some advanced technological network. A techno-organic hive mind, Mira gasped, narrowly avoiding a swipe from a massive clawed appendage. Fascinating and terrifying. Her prosthetic leg continued to adapt, drawing on the alien biotechnology to enhance her reflexes and processing speed. Mira found herself calculating trajectories and energy patterns faster than she ever thought possible. As she led the pursuing monstrosity on a wild chase through the alien skies, Mira's mind worked furiously. There had to be a way to communicate, to reason with this collective intelligence, if she could just find the right frequency. Diving into a narrow ravine, Mira bought herself a few precious moments. She quickly recalibrated her communicator, tapping into the pulsing energy signature of the hive mind. "Listen to me," she broadcast, her words carried on a quantum-entangled signal. "I'm not your enemy. I'm here to learn, to understand. There's no need for conflict." The response was immediate and overwhelming. Mira's mind was flooded with images, emotions, and fragments of alien thought. She saw the history of this world, a civilization that had pushed the boundaries of biotechnology, fusing their consciousness with machines in search of immortality. But in doing so, they had lost something fundamental, that individuality, their capacity for growth and change. The symbiotic aliens Mira had encountered earlier were outcasts, rebels who had rejected the hive mind in favor of a different path. And now, Mira's interaction with their technology represented a new threat to the carefully maintained order of the collective. As understanding dawned, Mira felt a surge of compassion for the hive mind. They weren't evil. They were afraid. Afraid of change, of the unknown, of the very thing that made humanity so resilient. "You don't have to fear change," Mira projected, pouring her own experiences and emotions into the transmission. "Adaptation, individual growth, these are strengths, not weaknesses. Let me show you." For a moment, the attack ceased. The massive creature hovered, its many eyes focused intently on Mira. She could feel the collective consciousness considering her words, grappling with concepts long forgotten. Then, with a sound like 1,000 voices sighing in unison, the hive mind spoke again. "Show us, outsider. Show us what we have forgotten." What followed was unlike anything in human experience. Mira found her consciousness linked with the vast network of the hive mind. She shared her memories, her hopes and fears, the triumphs and failures that had shaped her life. In return, she glimpsed the incredible history of this alien civilization, their rise, their fall, and their transformation. As the exchange continued, Mira felt the hive mind changing. Individual voices, long suppressed, began to emerge. The monolithic consensus fractured, replaced by a symphony of diverse thoughts and perspectives. Slowly, the massive hybrid creature began to dissemble. Component organisms separated, each now awake to its own unique identity while still connected to the greater whole. It was a reformation on a scale Mira could scarcely comprehend. As she floated there, surrounded by a swirling cloud of newly awakened individuals, Mira realized she had done more than just survive an alien encounter. She had sparked a revolution, guided an entire civilization back from the brink of stagnation. The communicator on her wrist pulsed again. The symbiotic aliens were calling, drawn by the massive energy fluctuations. As Mira prepared to explain the incredible events that had transpired, she couldn't help but smile. She had come to this planet as a stranded mechanic. Now, she found herself a bridge between worlds, a catalyst for change on a cosmic scale. Whatever challenges lay ahead, Mira Saito was ready to face them, one quantum leap at a time. Cosmic Nexus and the Multiverse Equilibrium. Mira Saito stood at the heart of a swirling vortex of energy, her enhanced prosthetic leg humming with power she barely understood. Around her, the newly awakened individuals of the former hive mind danced in complex patterns, their bodies shimmering with bioluminescent light. The symbiotic aliens hovered nearby, their tentacles weaving intricate designs in the air. Suddenly, the sky above them split open, revealing a tear in the very fabric of reality. Through this cosmic wound, Mira glimpsed other worlds, other dimensions, an infinity of possibilities stretching out before her. Multiverse rupture. One of the symbiotic aliens communicated, its surface rippling with concern. Balance disrupted. Mira's mind raced, processing information at speeds that would have been impossible before her upgrades. She understood now. The sudden shift in consciousness of an entire civilization had sent shockwaves through the multiverse, destabilizing the delicate equilibrium between realities. "We need to close it," Mira said, her voice steady despite the gravity of the situation. But how? As if in response, her prosthetic leg began to reconfigure once again. This time, it transformed into something far beyond mere propulsion or defense. It became a conduit, a bridge between dimensions. Quantum entanglement on a cosmic scale, Mira breathed, marveling at the impossibility of it all. We're going to thread the needle of reality itself. What followed was a dance of unimaginable complexity. Mira, guided by her enhanced instincts and the collective knowledge of two alien civilizations, began to weave the torn edges of reality back together. Her movements were precise, each step sending ripples through the multiverse. The former hive mind individuals joined in, their newly rediscovered individuality allowing them to approach the problem from countless unique angles. The symbiotic aliens added their own magic to the mix, their biotechnology pulsing in harmony with the cosmic energies. As they worked, Mira caught glimpses of other realities through the shrinking tear. She saw versions of Earth where history had taken radically different turns, alien worlds beyond imagination, and in one heart-stopping moment, a version of herself, whole, unaugmented, but with eyes that had never seen the wonders of the cosmos. Parallel quantum realities, Mira muttered, her mind expanding to encompass concepts that no human had ever grasped before. Each decision, each moment, creating new branches in the tree of existence. The work was exhausting, pushing Mira to the very limits of her enhanced capabilities. But slowly, surely, the tear began to close. Reality knit itself back together, the cosmic wound healing under their combined efforts. Just as the last threads of the rupture were about to seal, something extraordinary happened. A surge of energy, more powerful than anything Mira had yet encountered, pulsed through her prosthetic and into her very being. In that moment, she felt connected to every version of herself across the multiverse, every Mira Sato that had ever existed or ever would exist. Knowledge flooded her mind, secrets of the universe, technologies beyond imagining, the collective wisdom of countless civilizations. It was too much for any one consciousness to contain, threatening to overwhelm her entirely. But Mira was not alone. The symbiotic aliens and the awakened individuals of the former hive mind reached out, supporting her, helping her process the influx of cosmic awareness. As the final seal closed on the multiversal rift, Mira fell to her knees, gasping. She was changed irrevocably. No longer just a mechanic, no longer even simply human. She had become something new, a cosmic nexus, a living bridge between realities. The Equilibrium Keeper, one of the symbiotic aliens, communicated, its surface rippling with awe. Legend fulfilled. Mira looked up, her eyes now shimmering with the light of 1,000 galaxies. "What does that mean?" she asked, her voice resonating with newfound power. The alien's response came not in words, but in a flood of images and concepts. Mira saw the grand design of the multiverse, the delicate balance that kept infinite realities from collapsing in on each other, and she saw her role in it all, a cosmic mechanic, tasked with maintaining the great machine of existence itself. As the enormity of her new purpose settled over her, Mira felt a moment of doubt. How could she, a simple human from Earth, bear such a responsibility? But then she remembered everything that had brought her to this point, her skills, her adaptability, her uniquely human capacity for growth and change. She had faced the unknown before and triumphed. This was just another problem to solve, albeit on a cosmic scale. Standing tall, her prosthetic leg now a gleaming conduit of multiversal energy, Mira addressed the assembled aliens. "All right," she said, a smile playing at the corners of her mouth. "Let's get to work. We've got a multiverse to maintain." The aliens cheered, a sound that resonated across dimensions. As Mira prepared to embark on her new role as the Equilibrium Keeper, she spared one last thought for the Earth she had left behind. Someday, she promised herself, she would return, bringing with her knowledge that would revolutionize human understanding of the cosmos. But for now, the multiverse called, and Mira Sato, cosmic mechanic extraordinaire, was ready to answer. Chronos Cascade and the Singularity Nexus. Mira Sato, now the Equilibrium Keeper, stood at the precipice of time itself. Her enhanced prosthetic leg, a marvel of multiversal engineering, pulsed with chrono-energy. Before her stretched an infinite tapestry of timelines, each thread a potential future, past, or alternate present. Temporal anomaly detected, chirped her quantum-integrated AI assistant, a gift from the symbiotic aliens. Chronos Cascade imminent. Mira's eyes, now swirling galaxies of knowledge, narrowed in concentration. A Chronos Cascade, a chain reaction of temporal distortions that could unravel the very fabric of spacetime. This was exactly why she had been chosen as the Equilibrium Keeper. Right then, Mira said, cracking her knuckles. "Time to do what I do best, fix the unfixable." With a thought, she activated her chronosurf protocol, her prosthetic reconfigured, becoming a sleek temporal surfboard. Mira stepped onto it, feeling the familiar rush as she merged with the time stream. She shot through the corridors of time, weaving between parallel realities and dodging temporal eddies. The source of the cascade soon came into view, a massive, pulsating orb of pure chronometric energy. The Singularity Nexus, Mira breathed, her enhanced mind immediately grasping the implications. The point where all possible futures converge. As she approached, Mira saw the problem. The nexus was unstable, its usually smooth surface riddled with fractures. Each crack spewed temporal energy, creating the distortions that threatened to escalate into a full Chronos cascade. Mira's mind raced, calculating possible solutions faster than any supercomputer. She needed to stabilize the nexus, but how? Her eyes fell on her prosthetic leg, and suddenly she knew what she had to do. "Sometimes," she muttered, "you've got to kick time in the pants." Mira disengaged from her chronosurf board, using her quantum-enhanced agility to maneuver through the time stream. She positioned herself directly above the largest fracture in the Singularity Nexus. "I hope this works," she said, and with all her strength, she brought her prosthetic leg down onto the nexus. The impact was cataclysmic. Chrono energy exploded outward, threatening to tear Mira apart. But her prosthetic, designed to channel and control multiversal energies, began to absorb the temporal tsunami. Mira gritted her teeth, feeling the full weight of time itself pressing down on her. Her leg became a conduit, siphoning the destructive energy and redirecting it back into the nexus in a controlled stream. As she worked, Mira glimpsed countless potential futures. She saw humanity reaching the stars, falling into ruin, transcending physical form, and everything in between. Each possibility was a thread in the grand tapestry of time, and Mira was determined to keep them all intact. Finally, after what felt like an eternity compressed into a single moment, the last of the fractures sealed. The singularity nexus stabilized, its surface once again a smooth, pulsating orb of potential. Mira floated back, exhausted but triumphant. Her prosthetic leg, now permanently altered by its contact with the nexus, glowed with an inner light that seemed to flicker between past, present, and future. Chrono's cascade averted, her AI assistant confirmed, temporal stability restored. But even as relief washed over her, Mira realized something had changed. Her connection to the time stream felt different, more intimate. She raised her hand, watching in awe as chrono energy danced between her fingers. "Congratulations, Equilibrium Keeper," a voice echoed through time itself. "You have passed the final test." Before Mira appeared a being of pure temporal energy, its form constantly shifting between past and future states. "I am the Chronarch, guardian of the singularity nexus," it said, "and you, Mira Saito, have proven yourself worthy of joining our ranks." Mira's mind reeled. "You mean, this was all a test?" The Chronarch's laugh rippled through the time stream. "Reality is always a test, dear Keeper. But yes, we needed to be sure you could handle the ultimate responsibility, safeguarding the very flow of time itself." As the implications sank in, Mira felt a mix of emotions, awe, excitement, and a touch of trepidation. She had come so far from the stranded mechanic she once was. Now she stood at the crossroads of all reality, a guardian of time and space. "I accept," Mira said, her voice resonating with newfound power. "But on one condition, I want to be able to visit Earth to share some of what I've learned. Humanity deserves a chance to grow, to understand its place in the grand design." The Chronarch considered for a moment, then nodded. "Granted, but with caution. The knowledge you now possess could reshape the destiny of your entire species." Mira smiled, thinking of the incredible journey ahead. "Well then," she said, chrono energy swirling around her, "I guess it's time to rewrite history, responsibly, of course." As she prepared to embark on her new role as a Chronarch in training, Mira spared one last thought for the cosmic mechanic she had been. That chapter was closed, but the skills she had honed, adaptability, problem-solving, and sheer determination, would serve her well in the infinite adventures to come. The time stream beckoned, full of challenges to overcome and wonders to explore, and Mira Sato, once a simple mechanic, now guardian of the cosmic clockwork, was ready to face it all, one quantum leap at a time.